I think food sensitivity testing has kind of got a bad rap as being inaccurate. And the reason is because people order it at the wrong time. If you, like she said, you order it on a kid with leaky gut, it's going to light up like a Christmas tree. So you want to tighten it up a bit. We do a similar thing in our clinic where we tend to work on the gut first before we do the food sensitivity testing because telling a parent to cut out 35 foods not that helpful. You already got a picky eater. I mean, there's nothing left to eat. So, what have I accomplished? Nothing. So, and then you work on the gut a little bit, tighten up those, tight junctions a bit. Then it goes down to maybe 3, 4 foods that they're sensitive to. That's something you can work with. That's actually a workable solution. As far as labs that we order, it depends obviously on the kid. You talk to the kid, but assuming it's just sort of a blank slate without any kind of particular history. I always look at a stool test. I like to get some kind of nutritional testing. I like a NutriVal. That's what I usually get through Genova. I like that test a lot. It's got an oat test inside of it. It's basically got most of about 80% of what the GPL oat test has. Plus, it also checks some blood, looks at heavy metals, looks at essential fatty acids, some other things. A lot of information as far as nutritional metabolic issues, gives us a kind of insight into the mitochondrial function and metabolics and all that. I do frat tests on every single autistic kid that comes through the door. I found about 1 out of 3 kids are testing positive for it. This is a rare disorder outside of autism. The numbers they have, it's 1 out of 10,000 kids. That's a very rare disorder. Inside of the autism community, it is not uncommon at all. It's actually very common. And this is one of those things that if you miss it early on, you're not going to see a lot of gain from other things, or if you do, it'll be very limited. So it's something we always want to catch early. And in the studies that they did, they've shown if you treat the kids under the age of 5, you get much better results. Although we've treated kids as old as 12, 13 years old, you still get positive results with that. But if you can catch them when they're like 2, 2.5, you really, really can get a lot better results. So that's kind of a very specific thing that I look for in that population. I used to mold testing. Actually, I do now pretty much on every kid. I used to not do that. I used to get a history, find out about mold exposure, and a lot of the feedback that we've gotten from the MAPS community at the conferences and some of our colleagues there. There's a lot of kids with mold exposure with no history of it. It doesn't mean they didn't get the exposure. It just means nobody knew they had the exposure. So we're missing a lot of cases with that. So I've just started ordering it on everybody. And I've noticed I'm getting a lot of positives on people that, you ask them, nope, no mold in my house. It's all clear. You can't always tell. Not everyone's got a nose like Angela's, so it's, it's nice if you have that, but most of us can't tell. So that's definitely one. I think from a budgetary standpoint, if you're on a budget, probably if you had to pick like one test you could get the most broad information on, I would probably say it'd probably be the GPL oat test. I think for the money, you're getting a pretty broad swathe of things. It's not the best test in the world. But it's a good general test. It definitely can get you on the path as far as at least figuring out where are the issues. It doesn't replace the stool test, but it gives you markers to tell you if there's problems with the gut. It doesn't replace a mold test, but it does have some markers for mold. It doesn't replace, some, further testing on mitochondrial function, but it does give you markers on it. So it gives you clues as far as where to go. So if you're looking for a good start and you only got a couple $100 to spend, I think that's a really good start. And also don't forget just the standard testing that you can get through your insurance from Quest or LabCorp or something like that. CBC, comprehensive metabolic profile, vitamin D levels, thyroid testing. These are things usually insurance will pay for. If you can just get your pediatrician to order them. I mean, depends on the pediatrician, but frankly, if you have a pediatrician who doesn't want to order any of this kind of stuff, you should really ask, why are you with that pediatrician? Your kid clearly has a problem, and all your pediatrician does is, do therapy. There's a medical issue, and I don't think we're not so fringe anymore to say there's underlying medical issues in autistic kids. Maybe 15 years ago that was a fringe thing to say, but I don't think any practitioner in the right mind today would say that there's nothing medically wrong with an autistic kid. It's purely a psychiatric problem. That's, and if somebody says that, then you're with a doc who, I don't know what they do in their spare time, but they're not reading on stuff. So, get rid of them and get another one. So.